Hey, Mom.
Kate and Matt, a married couple, are moving into an old house in a remote countryside area. This is a difficult period in their life, but the spouses believe that they will cope together. The first thing Kate and Matt did was drag things into their new home. They were optimistic and having fun while doing repairs. Soon the house began to transform gradually. Matt is an artist and hopes he can create here again. Kate supports her husband in his dreams. Suddenly Kate found a dead red bird. This find threw her a little out of whack. When Kate took the carcass out to the street and momentarily turned her attention to Matt, the bird disappeared. Meanwhile, Matt found a secret door with a strange lock behind the wallpaper. Among the things, he also found the key to the door and planned to open it, calling Kate. The spouses hesitated before entering. Suddenly the lights in the house began to flicker. Matt left to call an electrician, and Kate was afraid to enter the room alone. In the evening, the spouses celebrated their move, making plans for the future. They were distracted by a noise, but soon forgot about it. The next day, Matt planned to start painting, and Kate wished him luck. Later, she received a call from her employer. Kate works as a translator, but she is not satisfied with her salary. While his wife was talking on the phone, Matt planned to enter the same room. But Kate scared him, saying that the electrician had arrived. It turned out that the house had very old and strange wiring. The shocked electrician admitted that he had never seen anything like this before. Before leaving, the man said that he was surprised that anyone had bought this house at all, as the previous residents died here under terrible circumstances. This was an unpleasant surprise for Matt, as the realtor did not warn them about this. The first thing Matt did was search for information on the internet. It turned out that a married couple had deceased in this house. The police still could not establish the identity of the suspect. Kate had already fallen asleep, and Matt decided to sketch a portrait of the mysterious man who was suspected of the crime. He went to the same room and drank, trying to make sense of what he had learned. When Matt said he needed another bottle, the lights flickered, and the bottle miraculously appeared. Matt does not understand how this is possible. The next morning, Kate woke up to the flickering lights. She called out to her husband, who she found in the room with many paintings. According to Matt, all of these paintings were authentic. Kate initially thought the husband had gone crazy. When he asked her to name aloud any wish she had, she said she wanted $1,000. The money appeared in the room immediately. Kate decided that the husband was playing a prank on her, and this time she asked for $1 million. The lights flickered, and the money appeared as if by magic. Kate became frightened, thinking it was creepy. Moreover, she had a very bad feeling. But Matt reassured her, saying that they must take advantage of this opportunity. From now on, the spouses asked the cherished room for anything they wanted. Mostly it was money, but Matt also asked for authentic of the most expensive paintings. Kate gave up her career as a translator, enjoying her new life. Now the spouses were fabulously rich and literally swimming in money. It seemed that they didn't need anything else for happiness, as they could now get anything they wanted. When the spouses were lying in bed, Kate wondered how it worked. Matt doesn't think it matters. For example, everyone uses a computer, but no one cares how it works. The spouses continued to have fun. The room fulfilled their most impossible desires. Such a life was like paradise. The next morning, there was chaos in the house. Kate was in a depressed state, and Matt noticed. Later he asked her what was wrong. Kate said that everything the room gave them was just sham. Nevertheless, it was all very realistic. Matt decided to surprise Kate and brought her to the baby room, suggesting try again. They had been trying to have a child for a long time, but nothing had worked. Moreover, doctors did not know the reason, as both Kate and Matt were completely healthy. Kate said that she was no longer ready to experience the loss of an unborn child. Matt left in the car as he needed to be alone. Meanwhile, the woman returned to the baby room. An idea came to her, which she intended to implement right now. When Matt returned, he saw his wife fussing with a baby. It was a little boy. Realizing that the wife had used the room to get a child, Matt was shocked and said it was madness. He wanted to become a father, but not in this way. He ordered his wife to take the baby back to the room. Kate couldn't hold back her tears. She never found the courage to ask the room to make the baby disappear. Then Matt decided to take this burden on himself, but in the end, he couldn't do it either. They had no other choice but to keep the child. During the night, the baby cried tearfully, disturbing the couple's sleep. Matt asked the room for a baby bottle of milk, but when he returned to his wife, he was surprised to see that she was feeding the baby herself. Matt understands that they made a mistake and can't stop thinking about the criminal who the police never managed to identify. From the article Matt read, he found out that supposedly a room made the young man attack the couple, and as a result, he was sentenced to life in a psychiatric hospital. This happened 45 years ago. Taking the money from the floor, Matt decided to visit the hospital and, pretending to be a reporter, asked to see the patient. But John immediately guessed that Matt was not a reporter. The guy confessed that he lived in the same house where everything happened 45 years ago. Matt also realized that John knew about the room that grants wishes. Matt was primarily interested in why John took the lives of the spouses. He replied that there was no other way. He also advised Matt to forget about the room and leave the house immediately before it was too late. From Matt's expression, John realized that he did not want to give up the opportunity to get everything. According to John, the only person scarier than someone who can't get what they want is the person who can get everything. At the gas station, Matt discovered that the money in his pockets had turned into dust. He immediately rushed home to check his theory. Before his eyes, a part of the painting outside the house turned into dust. Despite his wife's protests, Matt began to smash the room to understand how it works. While Kate sang a lullaby to the sun, her husband searched for answers. Behind the walls of the room, he saw a strange network of wires. When Kate was about to leave the house to take a walk with the baby, Matt advised her not to do it. However, the wife did not listen to him. The baby in Kate's arms began to age rapidly. Standing behind the door, Matt listened to his wife's screams, but eventually ran to her aid. By the time he carried the child into the house, he already looked several years older. Kate demanded an explanation from her husband because he obviously knew what was happening. Matt admitted that he talked to the person who knew about the room. It turns out that if things that the room gives are taken out of the house, it rapidly age and turn into dust. This also applies to the child. The couple's conversation was interrupted by the boy. Kate hugged him, saying that everything was okay. Matt liked this situation less and less. Kate named the son Shane. The boy's greatest dream is to go outside, but the mother tells him that he is sick and should never leave the house or even open the door. Kate is trying to educate and teach her son, but he doesn't listen to her and becomes increasingly aggressive. Shane approaches the window whenever he gets the chance, which annoys his mother. One day Kate received a package intended for Matt. It turned out to contain a gun. Matt was practicing shooting while Kate spent all her time with the son. One day he opened the door and stuck his hand outside. Seeing this, Kate panicked and dragged him back into the house. This forced Kate to go to extremes and board up the windows of the house. Matt didn't like it, so the wife told him he could leave whenever he wanted. The situation in the family becomes increasingly tense. Shane does everything despite his mother, while Matt tries to draw. One night Shane came to his mother's room and asked for permission to lie down next to her. Of course Kate didn't mind. The boy told the mother that he wanted to be with her forever. Shooting became the only outlet for Matt, who found it unbearable to be in the house. Seeing the boy in his own room, Matt became angry and chased him away. Kate told her husband that he should not behave that way towards the child, but Matt reminded her that this was not a child but just a sham. Shane overheard their conversation and decided to explore the room of desires at night. The next morning, Matt saw a whole and undamaged glass ball that had previously been broken by Shane. Matt woke up Kate and asked if she did it. That's when they realized that Shane had learned about the mysterious property of the room. When they opened the door, they saw a forest instead of the walls. Shane was making a snowman that looked like a toy in the glass ball. Matt grabbed Shane's hand and led him out of the room, telling him never to go there again. Kate stood up for the son, not understanding why her husband reacted so aggressively. Matt locked the room, which Kate didn't like. The guy is convinced that Shane is dangerous. They don't know what he might come up with next. The room is capable of fulfilling any of his fantasies, so Shane doesn't belong there. The spouses argued so fiercely that they didn't hear the phone ring. Shane answered the phone. It turned out to be John Doe calling. Matt took the phone from the boy, wondering how John got that number. With the help of a second phone, Kate listened in on the conversation. John said that his mother showed him this room a long time ago. Also, according to John, there's a way to take out of the house what the room gave. If the creator perishes, the process of rapid aging of things will stop. Kate realized that if she dies, Shane will be free and will be part of this world. It turned out that John Doe is also sham. His mother once came into the room asking for a child. The thing that John's mother wanted the most in the world was for him to live. That's why she first took her husband's life and then made her son do what was necessary. Matt was faced with a difficult choice. He realized from the sobs on the phone that his wife was eavesdropping on the conversation. A few minutes later, Matt saw she drive away somewhere through the window. Matt doesn't know what to do now. He is left alone with Shane. In the meantime, the boy out of boredom started throwing raw eggs at the wall. Kate continued to drive, ignoring her husband's calls. In a fit of powerless anger, he began to smash everything in his room. Kate was planning to let go of the steering wheel to cause an accident, but ultimately couldn't bring herself to do it. Shane asked Matt what sham was. The boy also stated that Matt was not his father. Shane suspects that Matt did something to his real father. Unable to bear it, the man told Shane that neither he nor Kate were his parents, and he was not a real child. That's why he couldn't leave the house. The illness had nothing to do with it. Shane didn't believe it, so Matt grabbed his hand and dragged him to the door, commanding him to go outside and shouting that he wasn't a real person. The boy got scared and didn't do it, running back to his room. Feeling guilty, Matt apologized to the boy. Shane asked Matt to read him a fairy tale. Late at night, Kate returned home, witnessing a sweet scene. Later, Kate told her husband that she didn't want to discuss what John had told them. The spouses indulged in passion right in the kitchen, as they hadn't done it in a very long time. They had no idea that Shane was spying on them. In the morning, while the parents were sleeping, the boy sneaked into their room and stole the keys. Hearing the creak of the front door, Matt woke up and immediately sensed that something was wrong. Shane was nowhere to be found. The worried spouses realized that he had left the house. They were shocked to see grown-up Shane. He had the gun in his hands. The boy was angry at Kate for lying to him all this time. The woman in tears said she only wanted to protect him. Seizing the moment, Matt attacked Shane, and a fight ensued between them. Kate lost consciousness. When she woke up, Matt was by her side. When asked where Shane was, he confessed that he was no longer alive. Matt allegedly took his body outside to turn it into dust. Kate went outside to see it with her own eyes. She cried, and Matt comforted her. Next, we see Matt waking up on the floor and realizing that Kate is nowhere to be found. The lights flickered again, and the keys to the room of desires were missing. Matt started desperately breaking down the wall. Meanwhile, Kate told her husband that she couldn't stay here anymore. However, Matt still didn't want to leave because they had no money or job, and the room provided them with everything they needed. Kate became wary, realizing that her husband had picked up some of Shane's habits. Meanwhile, Matt managed to make his way through the tangle of wires to the room, which was the beautiful forest with the snowman. Matt ran ahead, while Kate began to suspect that something was wrong. When her husband started to touch her, Kate became nervous. Suddenly Matt said that he had seen them doing it and wanted to repeat it. In horror, Kate pushed the guy away, realizing that it was not actually Matt, but Shane. When he called her mom, the woman screamed and ran away, calling for help. Meanwhile, real Matt ran through the forest until he saw the exact same house ahead, which was a creation of Shane's imagination and part of the room of desires. Shane knocked Kate out, intending to do to her what Matt used to do. By the way, Matt was already near the locked door. While Shane was carrying out his dirty plan, Matt broke the window and made his way into the house. Realizing they were not alone, Shane left Kate. Taking advantage of the moment, she hurried to leave. She was surrounded by two Matts, each claiming to be the real one. When one of the men grabbed her hand, Kate pushed him off the stairs. Shane took on his true form. The light began to flicker, and the house turned into an endless trap. All of this was the product of Shane's fantasies, who played with his prisoners. Matt had an idea of how to deceive the guy. The door was locked. Shane attacked Matt, taking his life. But it turned out to be sham, and real Matt and Kate escaped, locking Shane inside. Able to open the door, the guy chased after them. The spouses rushed into their real home. When Shane attacked Matt, the front door opened, and the men found themselves outside. Kate locked the door and cried, hearing Shane's cries whom she believed to be her son. Before her eyes, he grew old. Kate left the house, watching Shane turn into dust. This made her cry. A month passed. The spouses are temporarily living in a motel. Kate was shocked to learn that she was pregnant. At that moment, the light in the room flickered.